Bridget, it's not a good morning. It's not a good morning for the children of the latest school to close because of VAT. So we hear that the students at St George's Preparatory School in Boston have closed because the school is running unsustainable financial losses being incurred on a daily basis due to VAT on education and the national insurance hikes. Another school, a little prep school, has gone. Amazing. In a farming community, even better. So we've done the farmers and we've done the kids. Now, you said in an interview that no school should close. You said, absolutely, we do not want schools to close. You were talking about state schools, but this is happening in the independent sector and you just don't care. You don't care about all those little people who are going to school today and will not be going back there in September. You've taken away their school. You and Rachel Reeves have closed their school. You have. This is down to VAT and this is down to national insurance. You have taken away children's education. It's as simple as that. The Education Secretary has invoked policies that have taken away children's education. You've taken away them from the independent sector and you've also taken them away from the state sector because now these children need to go and vie and line up with all the other kids that needed a place in a state school, and it won't be their first or their second because now you're flooding state schools. State schools aren't ready for them, state schools can't cope with them, but you knew that. You knew it. You knew when the most disruptive time would be to impose the tax. You and Rachel Reeves, you cooked this up together. You were told that this would cause harm. You were told that this would seriously impact the educational outcomes of children, and you went ahead. All that you talk about, barriers, removing barriers, improving educational outcomes, improving life outcomes, you are taking them away. You're talking about it with the one hand and you're whipping it away with the left hand. And you try and invoke a class divide. You try and say this is because they're posh and they're rich, they can afford it. Tough. What you're doing is teaching children to bully. What you're doing is teaching children to hate. What you're doing is teaching children resentment and bitterness. What you are doing is highlighting your interpretation of class. Not mine, not theirs, yours. You need to act. You need to behave. You need to conduct yourself in a better way that stops children thinking that class comes from money. Let me tell you, Bridget, it does not. These children in independent school, some of them are there because their parents can afford it. But some kids in state school go on 5-star holidays because their parents can afford it. So what do? Do we stop them going on the 5-star holidays? Do we stop the golf buggies taking them around Mauritius? Do we? What do we do, Bridget? Because you're talking about class and you're saying class is directly related to money. I'm saying class, Bridget Phillipson style, is directly related to your own bitterness, your own vindictive agenda. You have taken the education of children in these schools away. It's as simple as that. You knowingly imposed a policy that would kill schools. You said children had enough disruption with the pandemic. As you panic about striking, you're trying to use disruption against the unions. Children have had enough disruption. You, in your own words, says nobody wants to see a school closed. You are the Education Secretary and schools are closing on your watch. This is the biggest fail to a generation ever. You have let children down across the board, in state and in independent. You, the Education Secretary, schools are closing on your watch. We've all heard you're about to be reshuffled. Let's hope that happens today, not tomorrow, before you can do any more harm. Let's hope this government actually sees the damage it's doing to this generation and future generation and repeals VAT on education. Because it's not the independent sector that's the only one that's suffering. Rach. It's every sector. It's the education sector that is suffering. And at your hand.